Hi everyone, my name is JC. I'm a content marketing manager at Socedo, and welcome to another episode of Socedo Live. Today I want to talk to you guys about using behavioral data, specifically from social media activities, in lead scoring. So, we're probably all familiar with lead scoring as a concept over here, right? The idea is, as a marketer, you're generating a lot of leads. You want a way to quantifiably score these leads and tell your sales reps or your SDR team which are the leads that are ready for a sales conversation, right? Which leads are ready so that they can be productive, right? So traditionally, right, we all kind of know, we look at the fit of a lead or an account based on, do they match your ideal customer profile? Are they in the right industry for your company to sell to? Are they in the right geography? Do they have a certain, technology stack that your product or solution can plug into, things like that, right? So there's the fit side, and then there's the behavioral side of things, right? Do we know can we try to figure out where somebody is in a buying cycle based on their existing behaviors, their engagement with your own digital channels, such as your website, such as your ads, such as your emails, right? So, of course, behavioral lead scoring, this is something we do at Socedo too. This is really great in theory. But the problem is, a lot of times, a lot of our leads are cold leads. They haven't been to our website or opened any of our emails in the past 30, 60, or even 90 days. This happens especially for companies if you're taking an outbound approach where, you have your list of target accounts and contacts in those accounts you've already purchased, and you're trying to figure out which leads are in market right now, which leads you want to go after. Well, if they haven't done anything with your website, how are you going to know what their interests are and where they are in the buying cycle? Without that kind of third-party behavioral information, on what these people are doing outside of your website, you're just going to have a big gap, right, on your buying intent. So how do we fill this gap on buying intent? Well, people, before they ever come to your website, before they engage with your emails, they're doing this research, right, general research on your solution space on the web. They're reading certain articles on different websites in your industries. They're also, engaging on social media, right? So, consider that on Twitter, there's 2.1 billion search queries per day. It's really clear, like a lot of, investigation, right? A lot of investigation are happening on Twitter, right? People are searching for different things. So basically, from social media, you can actually get a lot of buying intent signals from people who are earlier in the buying cycle, right, who may not even have heard about your brand yet. And you can actually bring this data into your marketing automation system, lead score off of it, to help your SDR team identify which are the leads showing intent right now, who to reach out to right now. So let's talk about a few different types of behavioral social data that you should be looking out for. Essentially, that's going to be flags for likely candidates who are potential buyers for your business, right? So, first of all, as people are doing research on social media, they're talking about certain topics, right? For example, in the marketing space, our business, we want to talk to demand gen marketers, marketing executives in the B2B space, right? So we know, right, these people are talking about things like marketing automation. They're probably talking about machine learning, AI. These are some of the hot topics in our space, right? And so if somebody is, talking about a hot topic and we have a point of view on that topic, we have a way of approaching a solution related to that topic, right? There is already a hook for a conversation, right? Somebody talking about that topic could be a good fit for my business. So you can track hot topics, right? And these are pretty similar to your search keywords, right? People might be searching for relevant topics in your space, and you want to be ranking for these kinds of keywords anyways from your website content. So it's the same idea. Search keywords on interesting relevant topics, take that to social media. And then, people, what do they talk about on social? They talk and share about the experiences they have, right? So people in your industry are attending, key conferences in your space. Anybody who's talking about attending key conferences in your space, well, they're actually actively researching in your space. They're probably a good candidate for you, right? So, attendees, right, of conferences, they could be good targets for your marketing efforts or for your SDR team. And so every conference now, there's a hashtag that comes with the conference and people are tweeting about it. You're going to start to, see the topics, the tweets, trending upwards, usually a few weeks before the conference. And then there might be a tail of tweets even after the conference as well. So here at Socedo, we actually find a lot of good leads based on who is tweeting about the key conferences in our space. And these are people, right, with the conference hashtags. You can reach out to them and invite them to your event via email as well, for example. And then, when we're talking about the B2B buying cycle, there's generally, right, influencers. There's specific people, right, who are influencing your potential buyers, right? These people are actively sharing their knowledge on social media, right? So, anybody who is sharing content from a relevant influencer in your space, that's another, signal that this person could be a good fit for your business. So, another way to think of influencers, I would put partners in this bucket too, right? Let's say, your technology connects with these other pieces of technologies or platforms, right? Somebody who is already using that other complementary technology and is tweeting about it, that could also potentially be a good lead for your business, right? So, going back to influencers, right? If you have done joint content like an ebook, or maybe you have a blog post where you've interviewed a certain influencer, you can send that kind of content to those who are talking about the influencer because they would already be interested in that person's content. So they're probably interested in your content as well, right? And so again, this is something to look out for as a kind of buying signal. And then of course, right, this one is pretty big, right? We all want to know how we're doing versus competitors, right? If there are, you can identify the key competitors in your space, right? Somebody who is, just followed a competitor's Twitter handle or just mentioned them, right? There's an indication that, this person is already evaluating the competitor's solution. That could be a very likely thing that's happening, right? So in that case, if like a lead in your database is talking about a competitor, maybe this is a hot lead and you want to send them an email, right, and present a customer case study maybe of how you differentiate versus that competitor. Or maybe this is a lead you want one of your sales reps to follow up with, right, so that they can reach out to them and hopefully get to them before your competitor does. And then last but not least, right, the fifth one type of behavioral data is anybody who is engaging with your own corporate handle or engaging with one of your executives on Twitter, right? Well, it's pretty obvious if somebody is interacting with you on Twitter, sharing your content, mentioning you, that they have an interest in your company. And just to tell a quick story, it may sound like, people are just doing like one tweet or doing one thing. It doesn't sound like a lot of intent. It's not a lot of information. But in reality, we've been able to identify good leads for our SDR team here just based on people who are interacting with, our Twitter handle alone, right? There are people in our database. They've been getting our nurture emails every week. Don't open them. They haven't gone to our website for a long time, but we see that they are interacting with us on Twitter. And so when one of our SDR people do reach out, they can say, hey, saw that you were engaging with us. That's how we reached out to you, is because we saw you were engaging with us. And we've been able to turn this person into an opportunity in a really short amount of time. So those are the kinds of behaviors you can lead score off of, right? Of course, you don't want to, it's hard to know how much these signals are really worth, right? So before you assign any points to these kinds of behaviors or, put it into your existing model, what I would recommend you do is start to track how your leads are engaging with the kinds of behaviors you care about. And then, the first step is track that. If there's enough volume of people who are engaging with a relevant, whether that's a hot topic or a conference in your space, send them a one-off nurture email, right? Reach out to them and see how that does. And do that with, I would recommend starting with a few different social media activities, right? And see which ones are getting you good responses, right? If these people are really showing buying intent, they should be more responsive to that kind of email versus one of your typical, email blasts or nurture emails, right? That when you see a much better response rate on one of these targeted campaigns, that's when it's a sign that, there's a case to be made for putting that social media activity in your lead scoring model. So that's kind of like a high level overview again, right? I just mentioned 5 types of behavioral data from social media to consider as intent data. The first one is hot topics in your industry. Then look at hashtags of key events and conferences in your space. Look at the top influencers for your target audience. Look at complementary technologies. Then look at who is, interacting with your competitors. And last but not least, look at who is interacting with your own corporate handle or your executives on Twitter. We have a lot more, if you're interested in lead scoring, if you're interested in thinking about adding social media activities into your database, we have a lot more content on our blog. Check us out there. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.